The German general who thanked George S. Patton, not for mercy, not for victory, but for understanding war exactly as it was meant to be fought. In the spring of 1945, as the Third Reich collapsed into ruins, a defeated German commander stood before America's most feared battlefield general. Instead of excuses, he offered gratitude, and then he delivered a warning so blunt, so uncomfortable, that few in America were ready to hear it. This is the story of General Fritz Bayerlein, commander of the elite Panzer Lehr Division, veteran of Rommel's Afrika Korps, and the man who, after losing everything, told Patton a truth that history would quietly prove correct. The meeting took place in Bavaria, April 1945. The war in Europe was nearly over, but little did they know what was said in that room would echo far beyond the battlefield. By 1945, Germany was dying a slow, violent death. The Allies had crossed the Rhine. The Luftwaffe was shattered, cities lay in ashes, and the once feared German army was reduced to exhausted remnants, teenagers, old men, and veterans fighting without fuel, air cover, or hope. Among those veterans was General Fritz Bayerlein, one of Germany's most experienced armored commanders. He had served under Erwin Rommel in North Africa, helped plan armored operations in France, and commanded the Panzer Lehr Division, one of the most technologically advanced formations in the Wehrmacht. Panzer Lehr was no ordinary unit. Formed from elite instructors and demonstration troops, it was equipped with the newest Panther tanks, Panzer IVs, and mechanized infantry half-tracks. In theory, it represented the future of armored warfare. In reality, by late 1944, it had been bled nearly to death, first in Normandy under relentless Allied air power, then again during the Battle of the Bulge, where Bayerlein's division was thrown against impossible odds. Opposing him was General George C. Patton, commander of the Third Army, a man Bayerlein both respected and feared. Patton's forces moved faster, hit harder, and exploited breakthroughs with ruthless precision. By April 1945, Bayerlein knew the war was lost, but how it would end and what would follow worried him far more than defeat itself. In January 1945, during the final days of the Ardennes campaign, Bayerlein's Panzer Lehr was ordered to hold ground near Bastogne against Patton's advancing armor. By 1400 hours, American artillery was pounding German positions. Thunder rolled across the frozen forests. The ground shook. Communications failed. Fuel was almost gone. Panther tanks sat immobile, engines silent, their crews huddled in the snow. Luftwaffe support never came. Allied fighter bombers roamed the skies freely, hunting anything that moved. For 3 brutal hours, American artillery fired with clinical precision. Then the tanks came, Shermans, followed by tank destroyers, infantry close behind. Bayerlein knew the truth. This was not defeat by bravery or skill. This was defeat by overwhelming industrial power, by logistics, by air supremacy. And yet, what struck him most was how Patton fought. Rapid exploitation, constant pressure, no pause, no hesitation. The kind of warfare the German army once practiced and had now lost the ability to sustain. By nightfall, Panzer Lehr was shattered again. Casualties mounted into the thousands. Tanks burned in the snow. The division that once symbolized Germany's armored future ceased to exist as a fighting force. In the following months, Bayerlein led eastward, retreating through southern Germany as American forces surged forward. By April, surrounded near Bavaria, his remaining troops, exhausted, hungry, and nearly unarmed, faced annihilation. Then came the decision every commander dreads: surrender to the Americans or continue fighting and risk capture by the Soviets. Bayerlein chose the Americans. He surrendered his forces to elements of Patton's Third Army, believing correctly that captivity under the Western Allies offered survival, dignity, and law. It was shortly after his capture that Bayerlein was brought before General George C. Patton. 2 enemies, 2 armored commanders, 2 men who understood war in the same brutal, unromantic way. The meeting was informal, but charged. Patton, blunt as ever, questioned Bayerlein about German operations, command failures, and the collapse of the Wehrmacht. Then something unexpected happened. Bayerlein thanked him, not sarcastically, not bitterly, genuinely. He told Patton that the Third Army had fought with speed, clarity, and decisiveness, the very principles Germany once championed but had abandoned under Hitler's interference. "Your operations," Bayerlein reportedly said, "were a masterpiece of armored warfare." Patton, surprised, listened. Then Bayerlein delivered his warning. He told Patton that Germany's defeat did not mean Europe would be at peace, that the true balance of power had already shifted eastward. "The Russians," he warned, "will not stop." He explained that the Red Army had suffered unimaginable losses and learned to fight through them, that Soviet commanders cared little for casualties, only momentum, and that one day America would face them, not as allies, but as rivals. Patton agreed. In his private diaries, Patton would later write that the United States had destroyed the wrong enemy. But in April 1945, this truth was politically unacceptable. The war was not yet over. The alliance with the Soviet Union was still sacred. Bayerlein's words were quietly dismissed. The crisis was not military anymore. It was ideological. What made this moment legendary was not victory, but recognition. Two professional soldiers on opposite sides of history acknowledged the nature of modern war. Patton understood maneuver warfare. So did Bayerlein. They both knew that wars were won by speed, logistics, and ruthless exploitation, not slogans or fanaticism. Bayerlein later testified at Nuremberg, cooperated fully, and was released in 1948. He never returned to military command, but his assessments proved chillingly accurate. Within 4 years, the Cold War began. Within 5, American and Soviet tanks faced each other across Europe, and the enemy Bayerlein warned about became America's defining strategic challenge for nearly half a century. Patton himself would not live to see it. He died in December 1945, just months after the meeting, his warnings largely ignored, but history remembered. What happened next would become legendary, not for gunfire, but for foresight. The war ended on May 8, 1945. Germany lay in ruins. Over 7 million German soldiers were dead or captured. Panzer Lehr Division ceased to exist. Its casualties exceeded 20,000 men across the war. General Fritz Bayerlein survived. So did his warning. No medals were awarded for that conversation. No official record praised it, but its significance grew with every passing decade. It reminded the world that enemies can recognize truth in each other, and that victory does not always mean wisdom prevails. The human cost of war was paid in blood. The cost of ignoring reality would be paid in decades of tension, fear, and near annihilation. Against impossible odds, one defeated general spoke honestly. One victorious general listened. History judged them both. This was just one of countless untold stories from the Second World War. Stories of soldiers, decisions, and moments that shaped the world we live in today. Subscribe to WW2 Records as we continue to bring these forgotten chapters of history back to life.